Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my channel? Thank you so much. On the eve of graduation, a few friends gathered in an apartment in Boston to play Truth or Dare. I chose Dare and confessed my feelings to Mary in front of everyone. She chose Truth and said she had loved me, but the next day I saw on social media that Mary officially announced her relationship with Tom, the heartthrob from high school. I commented congratulations. In the love game between Mary and Tom, I had unknowingly played the fool for 5 years. It was time to end this farce. When I saw Mary officially announce it on her social media, I thought I was still feeling the effects of last night's drinks. After getting up and having a glass of water, I checked my phone again, and Mary and Tom's photo clearly appeared on the screen, nearly making me choke on my water. I originally thought that after last night, my relationship with Mary would progress, but unexpectedly, I found myself in an even worse situation. I first commented congratulations in my friend circle, and then I wanted to check the messages from my friends. They were all condolences from friends who drank together last night, and I replied uniformly, "It's okay, I'm still alive." But when I replied to my middle school desk mate Peter, I added, "It's really disgusting." Mary pursued Tom for 5 years and was rejected 4 times. On the day of their high school graduation ceremony, Mary sang and played Love Story by herself in the school auditorium, but all she received from Tom was a simple "I'm sorry." That night, I accompanied her to a KTV in Boston's Chinatown, where we sang sad love songs all night long. As a result, during various gatherings in our 4 years of college, I could almost always win at the song-guessing game with ease. On the second Christmas, she invited me to vacation in Miami. It was only after we arrived that I learned it was originally her plan to confess to Tom, but Tom didn't come, and she didn't want to waste the trip, so she brought me along. On the beach in Miami, brilliant fireworks burst in the night sky, and I silently hoped that Mary's feelings for Tom would fade away like those fireworks. However, in the 3rd year, she confessed to Tom anyway. After being rejected, she wandered alone in Central Park all night and ended up in the hospital with a cold and fever. The next day, she called me and only said she wanted to have a bowl of the signature pasta from that restaurant at the high school gate, not mentioning anything about her failed confession. In the 4th year, Mary took me to try all the coffee shops in Boston and asked me which one I liked the most. Later on Tom's birthday, she rented out the coffee shop near Tom's school and gave each of Tom's classmates a free cup of coffee, but all she got in return was a simple thank you from Tom. In the 5th year, I confessed my feelings to her, and she said she had loved me. She didn't use the word like "but love." However, the next day, she officially announced her relationship with someone else. Isn't all of this quite ridiculous? During these 5 years of her pursuit, persistently pursuing Tom, she faced repeated failures, yet she kept fighting on. But before being with Tom, she took the time to love me for a moment. After replying to my friends' messages, I found that Mary had also sent me a message. Perhaps it was because I hadn't responded to her comment on my social media post, so she sent me a message separately, thanking me for my companionship over the years and hoping that I could find someone I truly like. What a mixed bag of feelings. Everyone around can see that I like her, but she pretends not to know, so I pretended not to see it. I turned off my phone and opened my computer to play games. I still remember that night at KTV before leaving. Mary sang one last song for me, Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You." While on vacation in Miami, at the moment the fireworks burst, surrounded by the gasps of people, I could only hear her softly asking me, "George, do you think the fireworks are beautiful?" In the hospital, she ate the pasta that had already gone cold, joking about her weak body while carefully picking out the spices for me to make sure I didn't feel guilty about drinking milk tea. She turned down all the parties and accompanied me to run on the playground every night. I never believed in the idea of more than friends, but less than lovers. All along, I've been entangled with Mary under the notion of being in a romantic relationship with her. She confessed her feelings to Tom time and again. I wanted to give up repeatedly, yet I was held back by her seemingly ambiguous words and actions. She neither said she liked me nor rejected me, always stopping her actions when I wanted to take a step further, telling me, "I've always considered you a good friend." By the time I finished playing 3 games, it was already evening. The barbecue my roommate brought back was cold and so hard that it almost broke my teeth. There were dozens of unread messages on WeChat. Peter said he inquired and found out that Mary and Tom got into the same university in Los Angeles. I had previously asked Mary why she wanted to go so far to study when there were suitable schools in Boston, and she said she was tired of staying in Boston and wanted a change of environment. I don't understand why she kept this from me. If she had told me during the school selection process that it was because she wanted to be with Tom, I wouldn't have kept bothering her, nor would I have impulsively confessed my feelings out of concern for a long-distance relationship, making things so awkward between us. I blocked him. What kind of person is this? I took a bite of the dry roasted meat, drank some water to swallow it down, and finally felt a bit more composed. I complained to Peter on the other end of the phone. It's one thing to treat me as a backup, but is it really necessary to hide this from me? I know she likes Tom. Can I really stop her from going to Los Angeles for love? She said she loved me. I guess she's just afraid that one day Tom will dump her and there will be no one else. Tom saw me cursing passionately and then shared some shocking news. They went on their graduation trip today. They should have already boarded the plane. I looked at the screenshot of his social media post and the 2 flight tickets Tom had shared, with the destination being Hawaii, where Mary and I had planned to go for our graduation trip 6 months ago. I had spent several months preparing for that trip, remembering everything clearly from the hotels to which bus to take to each attraction, only to have it go to someone else. I angrily took a bite of the barbecue. If she dares to use my itinerary, I won't let her off the hook. The next day, Mary sent me several photos, including ones of the Hawaiian Ocean, the sunset, as well as hot pot barbecues and bonfire parties. And of course, there were also pictures of her and Tom together. The ocean backdrop was from the hotel I had previously liked, and the sunset was taken at the seaside restaurant I had mentioned many times. The seafood hot pot and late-night beach barbecue in the photos, along with the bright bonfire and scenes of them, dancing hand in hand, were even arranged exactly like my travel guide. After looking at them, I replied with a smile emoji, then turned on Do Not Disturb for messages and continued playing games with my roommate. Everyone was busy writing their graduation thesis, each one overwhelmed and stressed. They simply ordered a few pizzas and fried chicken, huddling together to play games and chat. While they were playing, they asked me about my progress with my ambiguous partner. Everyone knew that I had been chatting with Mary almost every night throughout the year, and occasionally we would take walks in the playground together. I said she went on a graduation trip with her boyfriend. Instantly, the surroundings fell silent, with only the sounds of game special moves coming from a few phones. I pretended to be calm as I took a few kills, then waved my hand and said, "Don't be so awkward. Out with the old and in with the new. If it's goodbye, then it's goodbye. Maybe the next one will be better." They exchanged glances and smiled, all agreeing. Exactly. I've always thought that Mary wasn't a good person who keeps someone hanging for 5 or 6 years. Block her or block her. People like that really affect your mood. Encouraged by everyone, I decided to start over. On the day I submitted the first draft of my thesis, Peter and I went camping in the nearby mountains overnight, claiming it was to relax. When Peter stuffed the girl, along with her bag, into the car, I was taken aback and took a while to process it. The girl sitting in the passenger seat, who was making eye contact with me, was named Lisa, a roommate of Peter's girlfriend. I had seen her a few times at friend gatherings, and we never really got along. I found her to be too talkative with nothing substantial to say, and she loved to argue and twist words. However, Peter insisted that she was gentle and kind, a real beauty. I was skeptical and teased him for her. Using this as an opportunity to show off his relationship. Is Peter planning to throw you into the mountains? Those dark circles under your eyes look like a panda's. I lower my head to fasten my seatbelt and instinctively replied, "Yeah, it's not easy to ride in a car driven by a panda. Remember to add that to your resume when you go back. It could score some points." This time, Lisa didn't retort like she usually does, but looked at me with a half smile. I felt a bit uneasy and quickly checked my face in the rearview mirror. Aside from the 2 big dark circles, there was nothing particularly strange about it. "Is there something on your mind?" I asked directly. "I heard you and Mary broke up. So, she was here to see the joke? We were never really together, so it doesn't count as a breakup. It's more like she let go early, and I got slapped a few times by a bungee cord. We reached a fork in the road, and the sound of the left turn signal was particularly clear. Lisa was silent for a moment before continuing, then just cut the bungee cord. Girls who only want to be ambiguous won't do, and she's nothing special. It's just that she has a good figure and sweet talk, winning scholarships every year. Her figure isn't even better than mine. I didn't respond to her. If liking was just about those things, then maybe letting her go wouldn't be that hard. Seeing that I didn't say anything, Lisa pulled out a box of steam I masked from somewhere and handed it to me. "This is for you. Just put it on when you have nothing to do. Staring at the computer and phone all day and staying up late, aren't you afraid your eyes will get damaged?" I looked at the box of eye masks with cedarwood scent printed on it and remembered that half a month ago, on the way to drop her off at school, I casually mentioned to her roommate that I liked the smell of cedar. Out of the blue, I asked, "Are you happy that I cut the resistance band?" Lisa's expression didn't change much. She kept looking ahead. When the light turned red, she turned to look at me, made a peace sign, and couldn't hide her smile. "I've been ready with the scissors for a long time. Do you think I'm happy?" I pretended to be calm while gripping the steering wheel, trying to hide my surprise. "Keep your mouth shut. You're almost grinning from ear to ear." Later, Peter told me that Lisa, after learning about my breakup with Mary, treated his girlfriend to 3 meals, and the two of them planned this camping trip together. "This isn't camping. It feels more like a couple's date," Peter said with a mischievous grin. I covered his mouth with my hand and pushed him away, saying, "I thought you brought me here to heal." He immediately adopted the demeanor of a relationship coach and said seriously, "The best way to forget an old love is to start a new relationship." After saying that, he took out a handmade sandwich from his bag. "Lisa knows you didn't have breakfast, so she made this for you. It's a heartfelt breakfast from your new love." I looked up at Lisa, who was cutting fruit not far away. I replied flatly, "I don't need another woman to heal the wounds of my previous relationship." Liking Mary was a habit I had developed over 5 years. Whether eating, sleeping, or doing anything, I would unconsciously think of her. The only way to completely erase her from my world is to rely on myself. I pushed the sandwich back. Before I have truly let go of Mary, accepting someone else's goodwill feels wrong to me. Peter stared at me for a while, nodded, and then forcefully shoved a sandwich into my mouth. I refused to believe that after being disgusted by that piece of dog food, Mary wanted me back. I can't keep being unlucky. He still wouldn't give up. During the 3 days and 2 nights of camping, Peter intentionally and unintentionally tried to set me up with Lisa no less than 20 times. On the way back, he secretly drove off with his girlfriend early in the morning, afraid that I would avoid riding in their car to dodge any awkwardness. As a result, Lisa and I woke up to find ourselves left behind at the campsite, like children abandoned by their parents on a deserted island. In the past couple of days, Lisa had also noticed that I didn't have much interest in her. On the way back to school, she didn't say a word when I helped her with her luggage. As we got out of the car, she pointed behind me and coldly asked, "Do you owe her money?" Saying that, she handed me my travel bag. "The way she looks at you is like she wants to kill you." I turned around and saw Mary with red eyes, standing at the school gate, staring intently at me and Lisa. Well, I tried to ease the awkward atmosphere. "I owe $1 million. Can you help me pay it back?" Lisa looked me up and down, then shifted her gaze away. "I only help my boyfriend pay back money." "Who are you?" "Then just wait for me to collect your corpse." I pretended not to understand her implication, took the travel bag, and wanted to leave. She crossed her arms and leaned against the car door, saying, "Non-family members can't collect corpses. I can't help you." I didn't dare to turn back. I just wanted to leave quickly. But Mary called out to me, "George, where have you been? Your roommate said you went out to play and haven't returned to the dorm for 2 days. I sent you messages, but you didn't reply." Mary took a few steps forward, staring at the travel bag in my hand, her gaze hesitating for a moment before looking at Lisa. "Who is she?" Her tone was like questioning a boyfriend who came home late, making me roll my eyes. "A friend. I went camping with her. There's no signal in the mountains." As soon as I finished speaking, I wanted to leave, but Mary grabbed the travel bag. A friend? How come I didn't know when you got this friend? Mary, after spending a few days in the mountains, my hair was a mess like a bird's nest, and now she was blocking me at the school gate, questioning me. I was instantly furious. Aren't you being too nosy? Her tone was also a bit harsh. What do you mean, being nosy? Haven't I always been like this with you? If it weren't for me, you might still be robbing at the school gate with that group of thugs. Halfway through a sentence, seeing my bad expression, her tone immediately softened. How can I not care about you like this? After I got into the best high school in Boston, my parents got divorced to allow me to focus on my studies. They put on a show for 2 years in front of me. Later, I accidentally caught my dad with another woman at home and learned the truth. Otherwise, they planned to keep it from me until after the college entrance exam. At that time, perhaps due to teenage rebellion, I did a lot of ridiculous things in my first and second years of high school. Being late, leaving early, skipping classes, fighting, and hanging out with the local delinquents outside the school. I either spent all night in internet cafes or followed them to cause trouble. It wasn't until my third year that my homeroom teacher seated me next to Mary, saying I was smart but didn't like studying, and asked her to help me more. From then on, Mary started to monitor whether I was paying attention in class, whether I was doing my homework after class, and even took care of my meals. Even if she couldn't ensure a balanced diet, she wouldn't allow me to substitute a meal with yogurt. She also strictly supervised my study progress, requiring me to sign a guarantee for how many ranks I improved in each monthly exam. It was almost under her supervision that I managed to get into college. On the day the college entrance exam results came out, she joked that once a teacher, always a father, and that she would take care of me for a lifetime. At that time, I really thought about letting her take care of me for life. I forced myself to suppress my emotions, not wanting to lose my composure too much. Yeah, if it weren't for you, I'd probably be a mess right now. That's not what I meant. Mary reached out to touch my face, but I dodged. Did you have fun on your graduation trip? I suddenly asked, and she was taken aback for a moment before smiling and saying it was quite fun. I went to a few places you mentioned wanting to go before. Once I finished my thesis, we could go together and only visit the fun places. I found her words absurd and interrupted her before she could finish. Mary, have you been by the sea too long and lost your mind? You have a boyfriend now, and you're talking about going on a graduation trip with me? Is that appropriate? Besides, I confessed my feelings to you, and you said you love me. Aren't you afraid Tom will get angry? Tom understands. He won't be angry, Mary said seriously. After all, our relationship is different. How is it different? I see you as a brother. I clenched my fists tightly, my nails digging into my flesh, barely managing to hold back my anger. I snatched the travel bag from her hand and walked into the school with a dark expression. Peter was right. I really had stepped in a pile of dog poop that I couldn't shake off. When I was going crazy in the dorm, Mary posted 9 travel photos on her social media. After seeing them, I had my roommate help me block her that night. I called George. I give you 3 seconds to add me back on WeChat. Before she could count to 1, I hung up the phone and blocked her number. The countdown, 3, 2, 1, was a way Mary often threatened me. You have 3 seconds to put your phone away and start the exam. You have 3 seconds to listen to me seriously. You have 3 seconds to block that girl's WeChat and not associate with her. I used to think she cared about me this way, but looking back, I realized how foolish that was. After being blocked, Mary came to see me a few times, bringing me breakfast and fruit. She thought I was just being difficult and believed that if she sent me some gifts and apologized, I would soften. After all, in these 5 years, I had never truly been angry with her. Even when she pursued Tom time and again, I never blamed her. One day, I was revising my paper according to my mentor's comments when someone knocked on the door and delivered 4 cups of coffee, saying they were ordered by my friend. This was already the 6th afternoon tea Mary had sent in the past week, in addition to 5 breakfasts and 4 late-night snacks. I hadn't eaten any of it, but my roommates had all gained several pounds from the food she sent. The person delivering the coffee also mentioned that Mary had made a reservation at a restaurant and was waiting for me at the school gate to celebrate our birthdays together tonight. As soon as I heard that, I immediately shut down my computer, left the campus 2 hours early, and avoided her more eagerly than one would avoid a plague. Peter invited a few good friends from middle school to celebrate my birthday tonight, and only Lisa seemed a bit out of place. As soon as she sat down, she handed me a box of cedarwood car air freshener and said, "I found this on the road. It's for you." I found it amusing and replied, "Shouldn't something you find on the road be taken to the police station or lost and found? Why give it to me?" She said, "Can we not say out loud?" Last time at the school gate, after watching Mary make me furious, she went back to the dorm and laughed about it for a long time. That night, Peter also sent me a video claiming it was secretly filmed by his girlfriend. Suspecting that Lisa might be possessed, I told him she wasn't possessed, just being silly, just like now. She kept staring at me and smiling. I said, "Seriously, if you keep smiling like that, it makes me think you're not quite normal." She shrugged it off and said, "It's fine. I was never normal to begin with." After everyone arrived, someone suggested playing a game. "How about we play truth or dare?" I quickly waved my hand. "No way. I have psychological trauma from that. Just hearing those words makes me dizzy and want to throw up." Most people present knew about my confession to Mary and cast sympathetic glances my way. Only Lisa, not one to shy away from trouble, said, "Let's give it a try. Think of it as desensitization therapy." I replied irritably, "Do you have a medical license to treat me?" As a result, everyone except me thought. I thought this desensitization therapy was quite reasonable. So, after a few rounds of drinks, Peter turned the spotlight on me. "Do you have someone you like?" he asked delicately, but everyone understood what he meant. I knew they were concerned about whether I could let go of Mary, but I had liked her for 5 years. It wouldn't be that easy to move on, at least not for a few months. Seeing me staring at my drink in silence, Peter guessed I wanted to avoid the question. Down the drink in front of me, leaving me no way out. "I've had my drink. You can't avoid this." I looked at him somewhat amused. "Is it really necessary?" "Don't mind that," he said seriously. I dare not look at him and replied softly, "There is." Peter glared at me with a look of disappointment, and if Lisa hadn't been in between us, I suspected he would have charged over to hit me. After a few more drinks, he turned his attention to Lisa. "Lisa, do you have someone you like?" She was straightforward. "Yes, go confess. Hey, it's your chance." Peter continued. Lisa waved her hand. "No, it's not the right time yet." Someone nearby teased, "You're so beautiful. What are you waiting for? Are you afraid he won't like you?" "That's impossible." Lisa handed me some peeled peanuts. "I'm not afraid he won't like me. I'm waiting for him to decide when he wants to use me to solve his complicated first love problem." Upon hearing this, everyone applauded and cheered. I turned to look at Peter, who quietly snuck away with 2 peanuts and hid in the corner. I don't know what kind of charm Lisa had cast on him to so easily sell me out all night. I didn't drink a single glass of wine, but I still managed to complete the desensitization therapy of truth or dare. Lisa was quite sober, even able to recite the Declaration of Independence on the spot. But Peter insisted that I take her back to school. As we reached an intersection in front of the school, Lisa said she wanted to get out and take a walk to get some fresh air. I parked the car by the roadside, trailing half a meter behind her. "Are you trying to ask me for bus fare?" She turned back to look at me, puzzled. "I just want to digest a bit and conveniently drop you off at the dorm." To be honest, I was still a bit uncomfortable with the change in our relationship. Weren't we at odds with each other before? How did you suddenly start liking me? Not suddenly. I've always liked you. You just didn't know. I was dumbfounded. You used to want to retort me 3 times with a single sentence, and that's called liking. Lisa said confidently, "I just couldn't stand you acting like a fool around Mary, and I've liked you longer than you've liked her." In sophomore year, I was cornered by a group of thugs in an alley. She suddenly began to reminisce, and I felt a bit at a loss, quickly joking to change the subject. "No way. Such a cliché plot. I heroically save a beauty." "No." Lisa smiled and turned to look at me. "You were with them, robbing me of my money." In sophomore year, I had mingled with a group of thugs for over a year, occasionally following. I was young and didn't know better back then. I awkwardly scratched my head, not wanting to bring up those things. "It's fine. Anyway, I only remember you later passing by with $200, shoving the money into my hands and specifically reminding me not to take that route next time. That's a bit funny. Lisa tilted her head and laughed. The dim streetlight cast a glow on her, and that memory I had always wanted to forget was brought out by her like a treasure. But I really liked it. I looked into her smiling eyes, and at that moment, I suddenly wanted to try to accept her. But just as that thought emerged, I saw Mary at the school gate holding a small cake, and the feeling vanished without a trace. In previous years, I always celebrated my birthday with Mary. I could decline invitations from others, but I always wanted to receive her wishes first on my birthday. Mary must have been waiting there for a long time. She raised her hand to greet me, but upon seeing me, she slowly walked over with the cake. "Are you going out with her tonight?" There was disappointment in her eyes, along with a hint of anger. "You stood me up and then celebrated your birthday with her." I was about to deny it, but then felt it was unnecessary. In the past, I was willing to let her manage me, telling her everything, afraid she would overthink. But now, I felt that even saying one more word was a waste of time. Seeing that I didn't respond, Mary seemed to have confirmed something, looking down at the cake in her hands. "You said you wanted to try chestnut cake. I went to over a dozen bakeries to order it when I heard from your roommate that you went out. I waited here for you for 3 hours. I said that even if I was with Tom, you would still be my best friend and I would treat you the same as before. But why do you have to draw a line with me, George?" Her voice was a bit hoarse when she called my name. When did our relationship become like this? In the end, she still didn't understand. From a moment she said she loved me, we could never return to being just friends. "Mary, can you stop being so selfish? Did you ask me if you could treat me as your best friend? Did you ask Tom?" Today I want to make it clear. I like you. From high school until now, for 5 years. Even if you only see me as a friend, I accept that. But you insist on saying you love me. Do you know what that means to me? Do you know how happy I was after waiting for 5 years when I finally got a response? But right after I confessed, she turned around and went to find Tom with the flowers, and I was left alone, numb by alcohol, foolishly smiling all night. Even if you want to tease my feelings, it shouldn't be like this, right? I really like her, seriously, for 5 years. Take this cake back. I have PRI, principles, and won't flirt with someone who has a boyfriend. Don't use the best friend excuse to deceive me. It makes me sick. It's getting late. You should go. After saying that, I turned and walked away, not wanting to let my tears fall and seem too cheap. But my steps felt a bit unsteady. Lisa reached out to support me, standing between me and Mary, and gently hugged me. "Happy birthday. Don't look back anymore." On the way back to the dorm, I ran around the playground alone, lap after lap before the tears could flow. The cold wind dried them up. With half an hour left until midnight, I went to the convenience store and bought a dozen beers for servings of Odin and a few skewers. The clerk asked if I wanted ice, and that's when I realized my eyes were swollen badly. So I applied a cold compress to my eyes at the convenience store entrance, and by the time I returned to the dorm, there were only 2 minutes left. My roommate was holding a lighter, and I closed my eyes to make a wish, hoping I would never again compromise myself for Mary. She wasn't worth it. After downing 2 bottles of beer, I cursed Mary loudly in the dorm, my emotions running high, unleashing every curse word I knew in my life. Unexpectedly, being drunk led to a mistake. I answered a strange call, and upon hearing Mary's voice, I disregarded my roommate's attempts to stop me and threw my phone straight into the toilet. On the first day of being 24, I squatted in the bathroom to fish out the phone I had just spent a lot of money on last month as a graduation gift. When Peter heard about it, he came running to acquire cheap labor. He took me up into the mountains to work on his family's farm for a week. His girlfriend's parents had contracted several hills a few years ago, planting fruit trees and raising chickens, and they were in need of help. Trading a new phone for a week's worth of labor felt like a bad deal to me. But he didn't think so. It wasn't until I saw Lisa appear at the school gate that I understood what Peter meant by spending one amount of money to hire 2 cheap laborers. Opening the car door, Lisa, dressed in a pink windbreaker and wearing sunglasses, stood outside the car confidently, smiling at me, completely unaware that she had been sold. Peter said, "You wanted to go to the mountain farm for a week?" I thought he was joking, but I didn't expect him to actually be interested. I didn't have the heart to reveal the truth. After all, I've grown a year older. She nodded in agreement. The mountain was planted with many jujubes and guavas, and after the harvest, they had to be covered with plastic bags to prevent pests and improve fruit quality. After getting out of the car, Lisa didn't even have time to take off her sunglasses before being pulled to work. The boys and girls were assigned to different hills, and every day before dawn, they followed everyone up the mountain, only dragging their exhausted bodies back to their lodgings after dark. After working for 7 consecutive days, Lisa and I hardly had any communication. Except for a few words when we bumped into each other by the fields during meals, we finally finished all the work. Everyone gathered around to roast sweet potatoes after washing up. Peter sat next to me and suddenly handed me his phone, which had over 100 missed calls. I thought they were scam calls, but when I looked, they were all from Mary. Peter said he deliberately didn't tell me these days, fearing it would affect my work. I scrolled through the WeChat chat history he had opened and scolded him in annoyance. He was actually upset and wanted to vent to me, yet pretended to be indifferent. Mary hadn't been able to contact me this week and couldn't find anyone, so she frantically called and messaged Peter, mostly apologizing and asking about my situation. Only a message she sent at 3 in the morning yesterday was different. She said she broke up with Tom. She drunkenly dialed the wrong number and told Peter everything about our 4 years from senior year to college. She said she couldn't live without me, that she was wrong, and that the person who had been by her side all these years was me. While she had been fixated on those other things, she couldn't let go of the embarrassment of being publicly rejected by Tom, but forgot that the person she truly liked should be me. Although I selfishly don't want you to have anything to do with her anymore, there's no need to hide it from you, Peter said, breaking a sweet potato in half and handing it to me. She just called me from a new number. I didn't pay attention and answered. She said she'll wait for you at the school gate tomorrow. She wants to clarify some things with you in person. Lisa happened to come over with 2 bottles of beer and heard this. She expressionlessly squeezed between me and Peter, staring at the sweet potatoes and the fire without saying a word. After several days of farm work, her face had tanned quite a bit, and she looked stern, not even glancing at me. Peter wisely went off to be with his girlfriend. I handed the half-sweet potato in my hand to Lisa and exchanged it for a bottle of beer. "Are you angry?" I asked. Lisa took a bite of the sweet potato and mumbled, "You have to treat me to a meal when we go back. Let Peter pay, but don't invite him." I laughed at her. Let him treat us to a feast. Seeing me smile happily, Lisa felt a bit awkward. She broke up. "What do you think?" I took a sip of cold beer. After 7 days of farm work, I realized I didn't seem to miss Mary that much. At least during these 7 days, I hadn't thought of her once. I don't have any thoughts about it. I'm not a matchmaker. I can't manage other people's feelings, nor can I introduce her to a new boyfriend. Lisa was taken aback for a moment. That's not what I meant. I was saying I knew what she wanted to ask. Smiling as I raised my beer to clink with hers, I said, "I've already said goodbye to my terrible first love. Are you still planning to wait? If you continue to wait, I think I might end up liking you." I didn't plan to listen to Mary, so I called her to tell her I wouldn't be going back to school and that she shouldn't wait for me over these 5 years. I was well aware of all the little things that happened between us, and I knew how good she had been to me. There was no need for her to remind me, but I didn't expect her to wait at the school gate all day. After I came down the mountain, I had a meal with Peter and Lisa, and then went for a massage to relax. By the time I returned to school, it was already 11 at night, and Mary was still there. She walked toward me with red eyes, her steps unsteady, looking quite pitiful. "George, you're still angry with me, right?" She tried to take my hand, but Lisa stopped her, putting distance between us. She just smiled gently and continued to look at me. "I'm sorry for the things I did for Peter. If you want, I can set off fireworks for you, book all the coffee shops at the school gate, and hold flowers all night to see you. If that's not enough, I can hold the grandest confession ceremony in front of all our friends. If one isn't enough, then 2, 3, 4. I'm willing to do anything for you until you accept me." As she spoke, her voice began to tremble with tears. "George, please don't ignore me. I really can't live without you." I stood there listening, unsure of how to explain to her that I was already tired, had given up, and no longer liked her. How could I, who once liked her so much, have changed so suddenly? She just hadn't recognized her own feelings for a moment. How had everything turned out like this? But apart from that, I didn't know what else to say. Mary, just forget it. I'm really tired, and I don't like you anymore. If you still value our past friendship, then please don't keep entangling me. I really don't want to see you again. But even that last sentence, Mary couldn't understand. She still prepared one confession after another for me, as she said she would. The song she played on the guitar changed to "I Will Always Love You," and the fireworks by the sea were no longer set off out of fear of wasting them. She was hospitalized with a cold because she got caught in the rain downstairs at my place. She rented out the coffee shop downstairs from my office, yet she never managed to see me. She even gave up the opportunity to pursue a master's degree in Los Angeles, staying in Boston to look for a job, just hoping that I would change my mind. But between us, there was already no future. By the time she confessed to Tom for the 5th time, despite Mary's constant efforts to salvage our relationship, everything had already changed irreversibly. Her persistent confessions and dedication had become for me not sweet expectations, but a heavy burden. Every time I see the carefully prepared scene she creates, I feel more helpless and exhausted than moved. One time, when I got off work and returned home, I saw that the area downstairs had been decorated by her with flowers and balloons, and my name was spelled out on the ground with candles. She stood in the middle, holding a guitar, ready to play and sing, "I Will Always Love You. I love you" for me again, but seeing such a scene, I felt no surprise at all. I just silently turned around and entered the community through another door. I knew she saw my back, but I simply didn't have the courage to face her again, to respond to her feelings that had already changed. As time went by, Mary's behavior gradually attracted the attention of those around her. My neighbors began to gossip behind my back, and my colleagues cast strange glances in my direction. I could feel that everyone was curious about what happened between Mary and me and why she was so persistently pursuing someone who had clearly rejected her. This pressure from the outside made me want to escape it all even more. During this time, Lisa has been quietly by my side. She no longer expresses her feelings as directly as before, but instead cares for me in a more subtle and gentle way. On nights when I work late, she brings me a warm late-night snack. When I'm feeling down, she accompanies me to the seaside for a walk, listening to me share my inner troubles. Her presence is like a ray of sunshine, slowly dispelling the gloom in my heart left by Mary. One day, Lisa and I went to see an art exhibition together. In the exhibition hall, we strolled between the paintings, quietly sharing our understanding and feelings about art. At that moment, I suddenly realized that when I was with Lisa, I could feel so relaxed and at ease without having to deliberately cater to anyone or get tangled up in complicated emotional issues. Watching Lisa's profile as she focused on appreciating the artwork, a different kind of emotion surged within me. Perhaps it was time to let go of the past and embrace a new life. After coming out of the exhibition hall, it started to drizzle outside. We didn't bring an umbrella, so we had to take shelter under the eaves by the street. The raindrops hit the ground, splashing tiny droplets, and the air was filled with a fresh scent. I turned to look at Lisa as some raindrops clung to her hair, shimmering softly under the streetlight. I couldn't help but reach out my hand, wanting to brush away those raindrops for her. Lisa noticed my movement, paused slightly, and then looked up. Our eyes met, and in that moment, everything around us seemed to freeze, and only our gazes spoke 1,000 words. Just then, a sudden commotion came from not far away. I instinctively looked over and saw Mary. She was holding an umbrella and running towards us. The moment I saw her, my heart tightened. The beautiful atmosphere that had just been established in the exhibition hall was instantly shattered. Mary ran up to us, and upon seeing me and Lisa so close together, a flicker of pain and anger crossed her eyes. "George, how can you be with her?" Mary questioned, her voice trembling with emotion. "I've done so much for you. Why won't you accept me?" I took a deep breath, trying to keep myself calm. "Mary, I've said it many times before, it's not possible for us. What you're doing will only make us both suffer more. Mary, however, seemed not to hear my words and continued. I know you're still angry with me. I will change. Can you give me one more chance, please? Lisa couldn't stand any longer. She stepped forward and stood in front of me. Mary, stop bothering George. He has already made it clear that he doesn't like you. This will only make him more uncomfortable. Mary looked at Lisa, her eyes filled with hostility. This is between George and me, and it's none of your business. I pulled Lisa, signaling her not to argue with Mary. Lisa, ignore her. Let's go. After saying that, I took Lisa's hand and walked into the rain, letting the raindrops soak our bodies. Mary was shouting my name from behind, but I didn't look back. I just held Lisa's hand tightly and walked forward. At that moment, I knew I had finally let go of the past and was starting to move toward a new life. After that, Mary gradually disappeared from my life. I never received another confession from her, nor did I encounter her on the streets. I think she finally understood my feelings and chose to let go. As for Lisa and me, after going through those ups and downs, our relationship grew stronger. We traveled together, tried various new things, and enjoyed our sweet moments together. A few years later, Lisa and I walked into the hall of marriage at the wedding. Watching Lisa walk towards me in her pure white wedding dress, smiling, my heart was filled with happiness and gratitude. I was grateful that fate allowed me to meet such a wonderful person after enduring those painful past experiences. Mary became a part of my past, although it was once deeply etched in my heart. In the end, time smoothed it over, leaving only some faint memories.